Good afternoon, estimados participantes. Welcome the course of gratuito de inglés avanzado C2. Bien, pueden seguirnos en nuestra página de Facebook, donde ustedes pueden ver nuestras publicaciones de estos meses que quedan de noviembre y diciembre, nuestra plataforma de YouTube, donde subimos las clases grabadas, y nuestro TikTok. Al final de la sesión vamos a presentar cómo está nuestro TikTok, nuestro YouTube. Van a ver que es muy bonito las presentaciones. Bien, somos y estamos ubicados en Andahuaylas, departamento Porima, Perú. Y ustedes, estimados, ¿desde dónde llevaron estas 4 sesiones de inglés avanzado C2? Esperemos que todos hayan disfrutado de la sesión de nuestra querida docente, Lenny, que las ha enseñado con mucho carisma, mucho entusiasmo y mucha dedicación el curso de inglés avanzado C2. Bien, los convenios que existen hasta el momento son los siguientes, ¿no? Municipalidad de Turpo, Gelanda Guaylas, Municipalidad de Los Ángeles, Huancaray. Todas estas instituciones son importantes porque le dan una seguridad en sus certificados, ¿no? Son convenios que también ofrecen los certificados gratuitos en el caso de sus trabajadores, ¿no? Son convenios que en el cual algunos certificados se pueden dar, ¿no? Algunos, ¿no? Dependiendo cómo se ha hecho el convenio. Y también ofrece los cursos gratuitos a sus trabajadores que se capacitan al igual que ustedes, ¿no? Entonces, depende mucho de ello. ¿Y dónde irían estos convenios, profesor? Irían en nuestro certificado. Y pues, el día de hoy se ha hecho un nuevo convenio con la OGEL de Chinchero. Entonces, ya próximamente en su certificado posiblemente esté el convenio con esta nueva institución. Bien. Somos una institución con más de 7 años. Ya ustedes están conociendo la presentación, la guía, la capacitación que realizan cada docente. Todos son de cursos gratuitos, ¿no? Alta calidad, 100%, a nivel internacional, ¿no? Estamos nosotros internacionalizando como institución y a nivel nacional que muchos participantes nos han recomendado. Somos una gran cantidad de equipo, una gran cantidad de trabajadores en la institución que aportamos un granito de arena para cada uno de ustedes, una gran cantidad de trabajadores que día a día, cada mes van luchando para que estos cursos sean 100% gratuitos y muy dedicados. Bien, los nuevos cursos gratuitos que iniciamos en noviembre son los siguientes: CIAP, Gestión Pública, Excel Intermedio, Italiano Básico A1, y también tenemos Inglés Básico A1. Estimados participantes, si les gustaría volver a practicar y repasar el inglés, porque es muy importante dentro de nuestra capacidad, ¿no? Talento que podamos tener en aprender los idiomas, sería muy importante, ¿no? Entonces, pueden repasar y llevar nuevamente los cursos. Este es el número de celular en el cual ustedes pueden inscribir para los cursos gratuitos. En todo caso, yo les comparto el enlace también, donde pueden ustedes inscribirse en los cursos gratuitos. Bien, el que les habla, el que menciona por última vez, que van a escuchar mi voz, soy Eric Daniel Sánchez. Estoy en el apoyo académico del curso de inglés avanzado. Esperamos que todos ustedes hayan aprendido, hayan disfrutado de todas las clases, ¿no? Y nuestra querida Miss, que va a dictar su última sesión de este mes, porque la Miss va a continuar, la Miss es Jenny Vilca, que está dictando su 4ª sesión en inglés avanzado, parte 2, en este caso C2. Bien, estimados participantes, la frecuencia era martes y jueves, hora Perú, 4:06 de la tarde, duración 2 semanas. El día de hoy cumplimos las 2 semanas, 17 de octubre. Bien, estimados participantes, nuestra sesión 4 va a ser Relative Clause. Entonces, espero que ustedes estén atentos y muy dedicados para su última sesión. Las clases son en vivo, materiales ya se compartieron en el grupo de WhatsApp, son 100% didácticos, y tenemos un examen final que inicia el día de hoy. Bien, estimados participantes, al final vamos a explicarle un poco más de la certificación, ¿no? Son 90 horas académicas, tenemos un campus virtual, trámites opcional, y ustedes al finalizar el curso van a tener un curso relacionado a inglés avanzado C2. Bien, los envíos son digital y en físico. Digital vía WhatsApp, que le va a llegar un mensajito, y en físico una coordinación que ustedes van a realizar con la oficina de certificación, ¿no? Con la agencia Shale. Bien, una oración para el alma, para iniciar con muchos ánimos, muchas alegrías en esta última sesión. Así como iniciamos el primer día, siempre vamos a despedir nuestras sesiones de esta forma. Bien, encomienda al Señor tu camino, confía en Él y Él actuará. Salmos 37, versículo 5. Bien, estimados, gracias por escucharnos en nuestra última sesión. Nos vemos al final de la sesión para dar unas indicaciones del examen, la certificación, cómo validar su certificado, cómo visitarnos en nuestra plataforma YouTube, cómo ver nuestro TikTok y todo lo demás. Bien, estimados participantes, gracias por escucharme. Nos vemos en la última sesión y al cierre. Eso sería todo de mi parte. Voy a pasar a nuestra querida Miss Jenny Vilca, que ya se encuentra en sala. Sí, un momento, por favor. Ya se encuentra cerquita nuestra Miss. Ajá, ya se encuentra cerquita. Bien, estimada Miss Jenny Vilca, welcome a su cuarta sesión. Muchas gracias por llegar muy puntual. Deseo el pase, por favor, para que pueda continuar con su clase. Muchas gracias, estimados. Nos vemos al final de la sesión.
Good afternoon, Mr. Eric. Thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are okay. Let's start with our last session today. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Yes? Okay. Thank you, Luis, for answering. Let's start. So today is our last session, and we are going to talk about relative clauses. Give me a second, please. Okay. Let's continue. Some classroom rules. Okay. And we are going to start with our welcome everyone sign. Yes, hi Adriana. So as we gather for our final session, I want to express my gratitude for your dedication and hard work throughout our journey together. Today, let's celebrate your achievements and the knowledge you've gained. Remember, learning never truly ends, so keep exploring and growing. Thank you for being part of this enriching experience. Let's make this last session memorable. Best regards, Miss Jenny Vilca, your English teacher. Okay, so let's start. Today, our topic is, as I said, relative clauses. And relative clauses are also known as adjective clauses, and they are a vital aspect of English grammar because they serve to provide additional information about nouns in a sentence. And also, they help you to make sentences more informative, more precise, and more colorful or different in the presentation when you use the relative clauses. What are relative clauses? Do you know any of them? ¿Conoces algunas cláusulas relativas that you can mention? Do you use relative clauses in your regular conversations or writings? Yes. Can you tell me, can you give me one example of relative clauses? Yeah, whose, whom, perfect. Excellent. Those are relative clauses that we are going to review today. So that we can remember this, okay? So they are used, as I said, to give extra or more information. What's the definition? Relative clauses are dependent clauses that start with relative pronouns. For example, who, whom, whose, which, or that. Or relative adverbs that can be where, when, and why. Okay, for example, here. Relative adverbs like where, when, and why. They provide details about a noun, as I said, clarifying which specific person, thing, or idea is being referred to. That's intentional. Some key points that we are going to learn or remember about these relative clauses. What's the function? What is the function? The function is relative clauses act as adjective, act to modify or describe nouns, and they also provide essential information that helps to identify or to specify the noun they refer to. Some relative clauses that we can see here on the chart are who, which, and whose. For example, we know that if you use who, they are referring specifically to people, right? Which is for things and animals, and whose is gonna be for possessions, things that belong to you or animals, people or animals. Some examples that we can see here on this chart are the woman who called yesterday wants to buy the house. You see, it's right here who. Let me use another color. What about which? You say, did you see the letter which came today? I love the puppy which is jumping at the kitchen. So for things and for animals, we can use this relative pronouns that you can see with different color in this sentence, which and which. They are in the middle of the sentence to add more details, to be more specific about the noun you are describing. And the last thing will be, he's a man whose opinion I respect. He's a man whose opinion I respect. You are using whose to say, okay, I can hear what he said and I respect his opinion. Whose opinion I respect. She's the student whose handwriting is the best in my class. Handwriting is the way you write, the way you write down things on a note. So let's start with this. Continue with the presentation about these relative clauses. There are two types of relative clauses, right? Today we are going to see both of them, and we're going to remember how to use them. The first type of relative clauses can be defining, which is going to call also restrictive. And these clauses provide essential information about the noun and cannot be omitted without changing the sentence's meaning. They are not separated by commas. Take a look at the example. The example says, the book that is on the table is mine. The relative clause that is on the table specifies which book is meant or which book you are referring to. As it says, it provides essential information about the noun and cannot be omitted. If you omit that type of information, it's going to be quite hard to understand which noun, which person, or which animal you are referring to. So be careful about it. When you talk about defining relative clauses, you use no commas are used, and also you cannot omit it. ¿Sí? No lo puedes omitir y tienes que usar y no debes usar commas, ¿no? So that's the first part, the defining relative clause. And then we have the other type. That's, as I said, there are two types. One is defining, and now we have non-defining relative clauses. Non-defining relative clauses, also called non-restrictive. These clauses provide additional, not essential information about the noun, and they are set off by commas. What is the meaning over here? When they say that they provide additional and not essential, that means that if you remove that part, the intention of the essence or the essence of the sentence remains. It doesn't change. You can understand. The message is conveyed. No, se entiende el mensaje if you remove them. But in the other case, in the previous one, when we talk about defining, if you remove the defining relative clause, it's going to be really hard to understand your idea. Okay, so that keep that in mind. So everything that is said between the commas can be removed, and the sentence or the intention of the sentence is not changed. For example, my mother, in the example over here, it says, my mother, yeah, who lives in London. And then you have the other part, is visiting. So the relative clause, who lives in London, adds extra information about the brother. I say my mother, right? It's my brother, but doesn't define which brother. So if you remove that, who lives in London, you have the intention. It says, my brother is visiting. So you just add extra information for the people to know, or because you want to share it, but it's not important. Like it says, it's additional, it's not essential. You can use it or not. See? Be careful with that. Si quieres agregar extra información, usas defining y lo separas por comas. ¿Sí? Si es essential, no comas are needed. Okay? So, let's see. Now, we are going to see the importance of this. As you can see over here, I have. These are crucial in English grammar for several reasons. First of all, it says clarity. Then you have detail. You have clarity, you have detail, complexity, fluency, formal and academic writing. When they talk about clarity, can you tell me why does it says? ¿Por qué dice eso? ¿Por qué dice clarity? Can you write the answers in the chat? When they mention clarity, what does it refer to? Any ideas? Exactly. You are clear, you are specific to describe which noun, or yes, whose noun you're referring to, or who person, or where the thing is located. So you clarify the message, and it's essential for effective communication. When we talk about clarity, you make the message clear when you add these relative clauses. That's why they mention clarity. When they say here detail, what does it refer to? ¿A qué se refiere cuando dice detail? Lo mencionamos en este. Because it gives additional information. Very good. It gives additional information, and it also allows the speakers or the writers to provide more information, and also add descriptive details to their sentences, right? You make the meaning more precise and also vivid, because the person can see through the details what exactly you want to say. And when they talk about complexity, what does it refer to? When they talk about complexity? Exactly. When they talk about complexity, they are enable you, the writer or the speaker, to construct or to build complex sentences. Because in the example before that it says, my brother is visiting, that's a simple sentence, right? If you want to make more complex sentences, you can add defining relative clauses or non-defining relative clauses to make more complex sentences, ¿no? Para cambiar lo normal que usamos en una oración típica, very simple, you can use these relative clauses to complex your sentences. And also, it's an advanced level of English to use a variety in your sentences or your writing styles. And when we talk about fluency, what does fluency refer to? Fluency refers to how can you comprehend the message, or how do you comprehend what the other person is trying to tell you, in both ways, writing and spoken communication. So it's proficiency in using these relative clauses, which enhances one's fluency and also comprehension. So if you use these relative clauses, that means that you are gonna get used to them, and other people might find quite hard to use this or to include this in their sentences. But if you practice, you will get used to this type of conversation and also this type of writing. And when they talk about formal and academic writing, what does it refer to? Exactly. Speak clearly and understandable so that the other people who's listening to you or reading can understand what you're saying. Formal and academic writing, it's very important because these relative clauses are often used in academic writing, business communication, and formal contexts. So, understanding how to use them correctly is very valuable in this kind of settings. If you are writing an essay, if you are writing a formal letter, or if you are writing a report for the company you work for, it's very important to use relative clauses and to know how to use them. Okay. So this is the importance of relative clauses. Good, thank you. And now we have relative pronouns and their usage. Okay. So first of all, we are going to use who. We mentioned them at the beginning of the presentation, but now we're going to see it partially. Who, it's because you know that who is used for people mainly. And it's often the subject of the relative clause. For example, it says here, the woman, over here, and then we have the relative clause, who, or relative pronoun, who is singing, has a beautiful voice. See? So, over here, when I said who refers to people, we are adding extra information about that person, about that woman exactly. Who for people, right? So, could be singular or plural, you use who. And then after that, you can put some details, some important information that you want to add. So don't forget about this. Our next relative pronoun is whom, and we are going to use this to refer to people, but particularly in formal or written English. And it's typically the object, okay? The object of the relative clause. For example, she's the teacher whom we admire. So it's in the object position when you use whom. Then we have whose. Whose is used. Whose is used to talk about possessions or ownership or belongings, right? And it can refer to both people and things. For example, the house whose roof is red belongs to my friend. So you over here the house, and then you use whose, de quién, ¿no? O cuyo techo, whose roof is red como decía acá arriba, possession, han puesto aquí, belongs to my friend. ¿Sí? When we talk about possessions, we use whose. Cuando nos pertenece algo, ahí usamos el who, el whose. Nos pertenece algo, usamos whose. ¿De quién? ¿A quién le pertenece? The house whose. After that, we have which. Which is used to refer to things or animals. It can be used for both defining and non-defining clauses. For example, with defining clauses, you say, the book which is on the shelf is mine. Recordemos que cuando usamos defining, no usamos comas. Remember that. An example with non-defining clause is, the car, which is red, belongs to Peter. If you eliminate this part, right? Si eliminamos esto, you see, the idea remains. The car belongs to Peter. The car belongs to Peter is the idea. But remember that this word or this expression that you add over here, which is red, provides you with more detail. So that's why they say that which can be used for defining or non-defining relative clause. And after that, we have that. That can refer to both also, people and things. It is commonly used in defining restrictive relative clauses. For example, the movie that I watched last night was amazing. So that's the intention. So that can be used for both people and things. Let's take a look over here. Se usa en ambos casos para personas y cosas. That. Thank you. Now we have a practice that you need to complete. You need to complete the sentences with the appropriate relative clause, and then you have different options. You have who, have whom, whose, which, and that. Can you please write the answers in the chat? Pueden escribir sus respuestas en el chat, so I can read them. Very good, Mercedes, thank you. Very good, Zeus, because based on the explanation, when you talk about people, you can use who or you can use that. That's why I'm seeing the answers on the board or on the chat that you have both. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, what about number 2? Let me write the answer. So you said over here, who? Well, number 2? Number 2, that? Number 2 can be also, as I said, to be got, or to be which, because it's for things. Good. Excellent. Very good. Number 2, Luis, Manuel, Raquel. Okay, number 3. Very good, Raquel, Roger. Excellent. What about number 4? Very good. Number 4. Thank you, Manuel. That. What about number 5? Number 6. Very good. Course. A company whose employees are always friendly has a great work environment. What about number 7? Very good. Number 8. Also that, because who or that I use for people. The computer. Excellent. Also, both options are correct, right? And finally, number 10. Very good. The movie that I watched last night was a thriller. Okay, thank you so much for participating. Let's continue. Okay, so now we are going to have these scenarios describing family members. You are going to tell me about your family, okay? Sure. So you can say something. Let me share an example. You can say, sure. Mhm. My father, you continue over here. Sure. My father, the comma, who is a doctor, works at the local hospital. Idiot. My mother, whose name is Rita, works as a vet. My little sister, try to make a conversation talking about your family, but including relative close. My little sister, who is 7 years old, studies. I have a younger, oh, an oldest brother. Oldest brother, comma, who lives in Spain. So this is kind of what I want you to share here in the chat. Eso es lo que más o menos les pido que compartamos en el chat. Describing family members, but this time try to make sentences including relative clauses. Normally when they ask you, okay, tell me about your family, you say, my father is Peter, my mother is Luisa, I have 2 brothers, I live in what? But I want you to describe your family including relative clauses. Sí, a ver, compartamos oraciones. Share your sentences in the chat. Kind of similar like my example, ¿sí? Más o menos con mi ejemplo. My father, who is a doctor, works at the local hospital. Or my father, who is a teacher, teaches at high school or at the university. Anything. Just 1 or 2 sentences about your family. Yes, are you there? ¿Están allí? Yes. Excellent, Adriana. Very good, Manuel. Mhm. Okay, for example, Manuel, you can write down my mother, comma, who is dead, comma, was a pretty woman. Mhm. Also, when you write down about your father, my father, Nestor, comma, who is a congressman, comma, is 70 years old. You need to tell me which information or what extra information you are adding with the commas. Okay, next situation. Another scenario over here. Now we are going to share personal interests. Very good, Adriana. My father, who is an elder person, or an elder also, has 11 grandsons. Mhm. My father is an engineer. He works in the mine. My mother is a housewife, whose name is Maria. My sister is Jessica, who is 7 years old. For example, Coco. My father, who is a builder or who works in construction, loves his job. For example, you add extra information. My mother is a housewife, or my mother, whose name is Luisa, is a housewife. Mhm. Okay, your siblings have different professions or jobs. That's okay. But the intention is when you talk about your family, do not talk like the regular kind of way you do it. It's this time try to add relative clauses in your sentences when you describe your family. As my example, for example, it says, my father, who is a doctor, works in a hospital. Very good service. I'm a teacher that works in the USA. You cannot remove any of the elements that sales have used because he's using defining relative clauses. If you eliminate or you drop some of the things that he has used in the sentence, it's not going to be understood what he's trying to say. Thank you. Good example says. Okay, now scenario number 2, sharing personal interests. What are some of your hobbies? Yes, excellent. Mhm. Okay, so as one of the persons in the chat said, it's better instead of using die, we can use the verb passed away. Mhm. But thank you so much, Raquel. Good sentence. Yeah, very good. My brother, who is studying a master degree, is a doctor. change the elements Zeus also. Okay, but try to do it like this. Cuando nos hablamos de sharing personal interest, right? Vamos a decir así. Traveling traveling, well, let me put it in bigger letters. So you can see it. Okay, over here. Traveling. New places. Okay, this is my intention. I'm starting the sentence. Traveling to new places, which is one of my passions. Allows me to learn about other cultures. Can you see my example? Oh, sorry. So this is what I want you to write. Traveling to new places, which is one of my passions, allows me to learn about other cultures. If I eliminate this part, the intention of the sentence, it's okay. No se pierde. It doesn't make sense. Traveling to new places allows me to learn about other cultures. Mhm, mhm. Oh, I erased everything. That's okay. Okay, let's start. Let's see your samples. I like to practice soccer and run. My hobby is cooking. I like walking. Mhm. Okay, my name is Jacqueline. I like to read, listen to music, watch television. Dancing is my hobby that gives me a relaxed time. My brother, who is a lawyer, works in a small company or studio. Who is Mariana, who lives in Pujalpa. Hmm, okay, thanks for sharing. Let's continue with the other example over here. Talking about travel experiences. Talking about travel experiences. Well, have you been on any interesting trips? Yes, it says here last summer. Yes, last summer I went to Japan. Oh, yeah. I went to Japan. You continue with the sentence and then you say, uh, explore Tokyo, where I met I went to Japan. I explored Tokyo where I met a nice person. We can omit the comma over here. Aquí podemos eliminar esta coma porque we are using a defining. So you see over here. I went to Japan. I explored Tokyo where I met a nice person. You can say, I also visited Kyoto, a city that is known for its beautiful temples. A city that is known for its beautiful temples, and I took lots of pictures. Things like this is what I want you to write down in the chat. Last summer I went to the beach where I visited beautiful places. Very good. Now, let's continue with another scenario. I think this is our last scenario, talking about travel experiences. Now we are going to make sentences like you were exactly what you have been doing now, but with other cases. For example, it says over here, write a sentence about a person you admire. Very good, tonight. Last year I visited Machu Picchu. I went to Europe. Okay. Where we met a cousin. Very good, Andrea. Went, W-E-N-T. For example, in number 1, it says, my aunt, who is a successful business woman, inspires me. That's what I want you to write about each situation. Perfect. That's you, Luis. I admire my father, comma. Oh no, that's okay. To teach me all in this life. My sister, comma, who is an admirable person, is a veterinarian. Punto, period. She is very good at her profession. Okay, describe a place you'd like to visit. So you can say, I dream of going to Paris, which is famous for its romantic views. I don't think so that. Very good, Elena. I like to visit Peru, which I think is a nice country. Good. Talk about an item you can live without. Mhm. Next sentence. Talk about an item you can live without. I like to visit the pyramids of Egypt. Mhm. Many people will say this. My phone, which helps me to stay connected always with me. Mm. I don't know what item you can't live without. Okay, now examples with number 3. Talk about an item you can live without. Take a look at my example. Miren mi ejemplo. Dice, mi teléfono o my smartphone que me ayuda a estar conectada is always with me. What is an item you can live without? All right, any ideas? Mm-hmm. Excellent. Mm-hmm. I can live without energy, water, and meals, which is essential for life. Okay, share something you enjoy doing in your free time. Share something. For example, I love I love outdoors activities. I love outdoors activities. Helps me or allows me to disconnect from the world. What do you say? What is the activity you enjoy doing in your free time? Okay, you see, I can be with my laptop. Mhm. Okay, entonces ponle you. Yo hice, I can't be without my laptop. Elimina el to, que está con el can y el be. I like enjoying solving crosswords, search words. I like to advise my friend who always has difficult situations or problems. Okay, very good, Adriana. Very good. I enjoy sleeping 8 hours a night, which allows me to disconnect from my phone. I prefer doing things indoors. I feel more safe and more relaxed. Very good, Andrea. Excellent. Now, describe a book you recently read. Describe a book you recently read. You can say, I just finished a book called How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, I can add here some details. Okay, I just finished a book which kept me on the edge of my seat. I'm sorry. I just finished a book which kept me on the edge of my seat called How to Get Away with Murder. How to Get Away with Murder. Actually. So that's the idea. Did you share something that you read? Okay, you're still reading. I like read and play Monopoly. Very good, Mama. I was reading a Stephen King's book that was awarded for a love science fiction. Yeah, excellent, Adriana. The book that I recently read called English for My Country was interesting. But mention a place where you like to study or work. For example, I have I have a favorite cafe where I can focus on my assignments. You can say your studio. The studio. Okay, let me see your examples. Okay, very good, Coco. The book that I'm reading, El espejo del triunfador, is very interesting. Very good, Yanka. I would like to work at Sonat because it is one of my goals to enter there. I just recently read a manga called Blue Lock. It was very interesting. You can say. I like to work in Canada where I could make more money. Okay, next, number 7. Talk about a friend's talent or skill. Talk about a friend's talent or skill. You can say, my friend Bonnie, whose singing voice is amazing, is performing at retains got time or at the talent show. Any ideas? Okay, let's work on that. Talk about a friend's talent or skill. Like me example, my friend Tony, whose singing voice is amazing, is performing at Britain's Got Talent or any other talent show you can know. Okay, write your examples. Okay, our last sentence. Share your favorite type of music. Share your favorite type of music. My friend Leo, who used to do skateboarding, was able to get a sponsorship 8 years ago. Very good. This was excellent sentence. Very good. I will spend some months in Mexico, which is a country whose culture is very similar to ours. Okay, my example. I enjoy listening to classical music, which helps me relax. Yeah, for example, you can read my sentence. Yeah, please don't forget to use relative clauses like the example. Take a look at my example. I said, I enjoy listening to classical music, which helps me relax. Okay, Roger, my favorite music is classical, guitars, and all this. Why? Mm-hmm. Very good, Mario. Operas, where talent of human voice is shown, is my favorite. Mhm, Andrea, but you need to use relative clause. My favorite type of music is hip hop in English, which or that helps me or to practice English, which helps me to relax, which helps me to forget about things or to remember things better, things like that. You need to give additional information to what you answer. The 8 sentences that we have used on this part, it's to talk or to use relative pronouns, who, whom, whose, which, and that. That was the main part of this activity, to use these relative pronouns, who, whom, whose, which, and that. That was the intention. The intention is to use this in our regular sentences. And I've read that many of your examples are just simple sentences that we normally use. And you have forgotten to use this, the relative pronouns. You can rewrite your sentences in order to practice, ¿no? La mayoría ha estado compartiendo sus oraciones normales, which is perfect. Thank you so much for that. But what's the intention? The intention is for you to change the way you normally use the sentences. Y cambiemos esa parte. Lo que necesitamos es incluir eso, the relative pronouns. Yes? Thank you. Continue. What do we have to do now? Continue with the next presentation. Now, we are going to see some complex sentences containing multiple relative clauses to challenge you. Okay, for example, over here in number 1, we have 2 spaces or 2 blanks, and we need to complete them based on what we have been studying. For example, the scientist. What would be the answer? The scientist? No, exactly, Roger. It could be that, and also it could be Who. Very good. Mhm. Excellent. The scientists who conducted groundbreaking research on climate change. Excellent. Coco. Uh-huh. Over here. Excellent, Raquel. I love retro music, which is the best in the world to me. Excellent. That's the intention. That's what I want you to use. Relative clauses. Okay, the scientists who conducted groundbreaking research on climate change. That. In the second space, that. Mhm. Also, which. Excellent. Also, which was published in a prestigious journal, was awarded the Nobel Prize. Mhm. I have a friend. What about number two? I have a friend. Mm, very good, Mario. Mario, Raquel, Jesus, Jacqueline. Good, good. Os, Coco, very good. Andrea. It's whose because the next word is a noun, father. So you need to include the possession. Whose father? Okay, and the second blank. Excellent. Very good. I have a friend whose father that I met at the party last night is a famous actor. The house. Mhm. The house where I grew up. Mhm. Very good. The house where I grew up, which is located in a quiet neighborhood, has a garden in the city space. Very good, Coco. Maria, Mercedes, Elogia, Jacqueline. Change the R, Jacqueline. Excellent. Yes. So the sentence is the house where I grew up, which is located in a quiet neighborhood, has a garden that my parents take care of diligently. Very good. What about number four? Very good. The movie that mhm, we watched last weekend. The movie that we watched last weekend. Episode, what did you write down over there? Excellent. Which? which was directed by a filmmaker. Excellent. Mhm. Thank you, Maria. That which was the movie that we watched last weekend, which was directed by a filmmaker who won multiple Oscars, left a lasting impression of us. Oh, very good. Let's continue. 5, 6, and 7. Number 5, she's the CEO of the company. Okay, let me see your answers. The two answers. She's the CEO of the company. Sorry. That recently expanded its operations to several countries. One of excellent, which is where I currently work. Number 6, my favorite author. Possession, I think. Okay. Excellent. Possessive. Whose my favorite author, whose books have been translated into many languages, wrote a novel. Whose and who? No. Yeah, excellent. Coco. Which or that I couldn't put down. The restaurant. The restaurant. Which was that? The restaurant that my friends recommended. Very good, Mario. Where I had the most delicious meal of my life is located in a charming part of the city. Excellent. Thank you so much for participating. Good. Let's continue with the presentation. Mr. Whiskers, the detective cat. Let me know if you can hear.
Once upon a time, in a small, quirky town named Whimsyville, there lived a peculiar cat named Mr. Whiskers. Mr. Whiskers, who had a penchant for wearing oversized top hats, had a secret hobby. He was an amateur detective, and his tiny detective agency was hidden in the basement of his owner's house. One sunny afternoon, Mr. Whiskers received a mysterious letter from a squirrel named Sammy Squeakerton, who lived in a treehouse on the outskirts of town. Sammy, who had a passion for collecting shiny objects, had a problem. His prized collection of acorns, which he had gathered from all over the forest, had gone missing. Mr. Whiskers, whose investigative skills were legendary among the animal residents of Whimsyville, decided to take the case. He donned his magnifying glass, which was almost as big as he was, and set out on his adventure.
Okay. What is the name of the town? Wensible, very good. What is peculiar about Mr. Whiskers, the cat? Tell me a detail about Mr. Whiskers. Very good. He's a detective. And what about his outfit? His dressing way. Excellent. That's what I was asking. Amateur detective. What's peculiar about the cat? He has an oversized top hat. Very good. What information does the mysterious letter contain? Oversized top hats. What mysterious information does the letter contain? A request from a squirrel to Mr. Whiskers. What was the case? A murder? Missing? Something? What was the case? Sammy collection had missing. What kind of collection? What kind of collection? Missing things, very good. But what kind of collections? Robbery. Collection of acorns. Were these acorns just simple acorns you can collect from a forest? Or what kind of acorns were they? Shiny objects. Very good. What's the meaning of magnifying glass? Magnifying glass. Have you used this word? Magnifying glass. Excellent. It's what detective use, right? To look for things. And set out on his adventure, Mr. Whiskers. Let's continue. What do you think is going to happen? Is he going to resolve the case or not? What do you think? Let's continue. Yes, you think, yes, Mercedes, you're positive. Okay, let's listen.
In the heart of the enchanted forest, Mr. Whiskers encountered a wise owl named Olivia Hootington, who was perched on a branch. Olivia, whose knowledge of the forest was unmatched, had heard rumors of a mischievous raccoon known as Rascal Ronnie. Ronnie, who had a reputation for sneaking into squirrel tree houses, became the prime suspect. With Olivia's guidance, Mr. Whiskers followed a winding trail through the forest which led to an old abandoned treehouse. Inside, they discovered a cache of shiny acorns hidden in a dusty corner. Mr. Whiskers, whose curiosity knew no bounds, also found a diary that belonged to Rascal Ronnie.
Okay, Mr. Whiskers encountered a partner. Who's his partner? A wise owl, very good. She was very clever, right? She knew everything about the forest. What were the rumors? What were the rumors Olivia heard? Excuse. Miss Kipis Recon. What's the name? Excellent. For sneaking into a security house. The prime suspect, right? El sospechoso. Okay, what else besides the acorns did Mr. Whiskers find? What else besides the acorns did Mr. Whiskers find in the tree house? A diary. Whose diary is it? Whose diary is it? A diary that belonged to Ronnie, Rascal Ronnie, right? And what's the meaning of Rascal? Rascal Ronnie. Okay, Ronnie is the name, but what's the meaning of Rascal? Similar to what? Mean, exactly, like mischievous, right? Similar to this, another word? Yes, perfect. So let's continue with the story.
In the heart of the enchanted forest is the diary, which contained Ronnie's confessions of his acorn-stealing adventures, confirmed their suspicions. With the evidence in hand, Mr. Whiskers and Olivia returned to Sammy Squeakerton's treehouse. Sammy, whose excitement was palpable, was overjoyed to have his cherished acorns back. As a token of gratitude, Sammy organized a grand feast for the entire town of Whimsyville. The celebration, which featured acorn-shaped pastries and nutty delicacies, brought together the diverse residents of the town. Mr. Whiskers, who had once again proven his detective prowess, sat contentedly at the head of the table, wearing his oversized top hat and surrounded by friends. And so, in the whimsical town of Whimsyville, where relative clauses and peculiar characters were the norm, another delightful adventure had come to a close, leaving behind laughter, friendship, and the legend of Mr. Whiskers, the top hat wearing detective cat.
Okay, what happened here and this last part? Did they bring the acorns back? Yes. Whose acorns are they? Who is the owner of the acorns? Sammy, very good. And in recognition of the hard work from Mr. Whiskers, what did Sammy organize? Mhm. Sammy organized a party, exactly. Very good. What happened during the party? Were they sad? Were they happy? Great feast. Very good. What did they eat? What did they eat in the party? Happy. They were happy. Nutty delicacies. And acorn-shaped pastries. Very good. Pastry and nutty delicacies. Very good. Okay. It was another delightful adventure for Mr. Whiskers, right? Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. What was Mr. Whiskers' secret hobby? Detective. Where was Mr. Whiskers' detective agency located? At the house in the city. Very good. So we have answered all the questions over here. Who sent Mr. Whiskers a mysterious letter seeking for help? A fluffy neighbor. What's the meaning of seeking? Any synonyms you know about this word? ¿Algún sinónimo para esta palabra? Seeking. Who sent Mr. Whiskers? Excellent, Roger. That's the word I'm looking for. I was looking for or expecting from you. Seeking is the same as good. Thank you so much for everybody who wrote the answer. Look for. Excellent. Search. Good. Thank you. Continue. What was Sammy's is Quickerton's problem? The missing icons, I think, right? Request. Very good. You see, there are many different words we can use for this word. Seeking, look for, search, request. Excellent. Who became the prime suspect in the case of the missing acorns? Ronnie, right? The raccoon. Very good. What evidence did they find in the old abandoned treehouse? The acorns, seeking, buscando. And finally, how did the story end and what did the town of Winseyville celebrate? Okay, you already tell that. Can you change the meaning, the ending of the story? The end of the story? The acorns on the diary. How can you change the end of the story, of this story? ¿Cómo cambiarías el final? Very good. Excellent. But now, put on the other part. How can you change this ending? ¿Cómo podemos cambiar este final? Very good, Andrea. The raccoon was put in jail, but days later he escaped. No? Few days later he escaped. Or also, the ending could be changed in that way. They couldn't find the acorns. Excellent, with the raccoon getting revenge. Or not finding the acorns at all. O no encontrar para nada, ¿no? Okay. Okay. Okay, over here we have role play, the great talent show mystery. Being able to get away with the crime. Yeah, very good, Jesus. Emily, Max, and Olivia are students at Winsville Elementary School. They are excited about participating in the upcoming school talent show. However, they are facing a mystery related to a missing prop, and they decide to use relative clauses to solve it. Okay, so what it's the here something is missing, right? Algo se ha perdido. ¿Qué es esto exactly? What is this? What do you understand by this word? Prop. Okay, Roger, any other ideas? But take a look at the context. The context says the great talent show mystery. Okay, Raquel, very good. Entonces dice, Emily, Max, and Olivia are students. They are excited about participating in the upcoming school talent show. Emocionados por participar en el próximo show de talentos. Sin embargo, however, they're facing a mystery related to a missing prop. When you are doing or when you are preparing a talent show, eso es lo que normalmente usamos, ¿no? Usamos props, que son nuestros elementos para hacer la presentación más colorida, ¿no? Mobiliario podría ser props. Como utilería. Accesorios. La utilería que usamos para montar un show, ¿no? For talent shows, you use props. If you need a castle, so you build the castle and that's your prop for the stage, ¿no? En el escenario. Entonces, and they decide to use relative clauses to solve it. Entonces, empezamos. In the school cafeteria during lunch break, Emily, Max, and Olivia sit at a table with their lunch boxes. And they say, guys, we have a big problem. My magic wand, which I was going to use for our magic act in the talent show, has disappeared. What? That's terrible, Emily. When did you last see it? We need to find out who might have seen it or borrowed it. Emily, have you asked anyone? So, what is missing? What prop is missing? And who's the owner of it? What is missing? Excellent. The magic wand. Whose magic wand is that? Whose magic wand is that? Who does it belong to? Excellent. Emily. Mhm. Emily looks worried. I'm sorry. Right here. Right, Emily. Let's continue. It says, I checked with the janitor who was cleaning the auditorium yesterday, but he didn't see it. Maybe someone from another class wandered and took it. We should ask around. I have an idea. We should talk to Timmy, whose dad is a magician. He might have seen someone playing with it. That's a great suggestion, Olivia. Let's find Timmy after lunch, but we need to be discreet so no one gets nervous. Right. We'll ask Timmy if he knows anyone who has been practicing magic tricks recently, which could lead us to our missing one. Okay, what happened over here? So what's the word, or what's the meaning of this word? Janitor, and then another word over here, wonder. Discreet. Magic tricks. Missing one. Aha, excellent. The person who is in charge of cleaning the school. Perfect. Excellent. Or also the person who works. Wonderful. Very good. Media. Being around, right? Okay. Who are they going to ask for information? The janitor says he hasn't seen any magic wands. But now, after the janitor, who are they going to ask for help? Who is going to be? Who are they going to ask? Timmy. Very good. So, what is the meaning of the word discreet? Exactly. And why do they need to be discreet? Why? What's the reason of not telling anyone or anybody this? When you are investigating something, exactly, you don't need to know all the people know about this, so they cannot get nervous. Or, yeah, exactly, to know exactly. Magic tricks. Who makes magic tricks? Very good. Who makes magic tricks? Very good. Let's see what happened. After lunch in the schoolyard, the trio approaches Timmy, who is playing with his friends. Magicians, very good. Hey, Timmy, we heard your dad is an amazing magician. Oh, yeah, he is. He's been teaching me some tricks too. That's cool. Emily here had a magic wand, which she was going to use for a talent show, but it's gone missing. Really? That's strange. I did see someone practicing magic tricks in the schoolyard a few days ago. That's a lead. Can you remember who it was or what they were doing? It was Jimmy from the fifth grade. He was trying to make a toy disappear. That's it. Jimmy must have taken my magic wand, which I had left in the schoolyard. Let's go talk to Jimmy and solve this mystery. So, who might have taken the magic one on this conversation? Jimmy. What grade is Jimmy in? What grade is Jimmy in? What grade? ¿En qué grado? What grade is Jimmy in studying? Fifth grade. What was he trying to disappear? Toy. Very good. And where was exactly the magic wand? In what place? Excellent, Roger. In the schoolyard. In the schoolyard, Emily, Max, Olivia, and Timmy approach Jimmy, who is practicing magic tricks. Jimmy, we know you were practicing magic tricks here a few days ago. Did you happen to see a magic wand? Yeah, I borrowed it, but I was planning to return it before the talent show. Jimmy, we were really worried about it. You see, that wand belongs to Emily, who is performing a magic act for the show. It's great that you wanted to use it, but you should have asked first. Yeah, borrowing something without permission can be a problem. Thanks for telling us, Jimmy. Let's make sure to return the wand and work together on our magic act for the talent show. Mhm. Okay, what's the advice at the end of this story? What should we do? Should we take things without permission? This was like a totally nice way of solving problems, right? Talking, communicating. Yes, it can be a problem. Exactly. You cannot take property from anybody. You need to ask for permission, you need to communicate. But here in this role play, they show you that problems can be solved in a good way, especially for kids in a school that tend to be more aggressive or take things to another level. So what we want to show over here is that you communicate things in a proper way, you ask for things, and in order to avoid problems, like you said, can be a problem, right? Exactly, totally right. You cannot take anybody else property. Good. Thank you so much. So this is what we have been studying on this presentation, relative clauses. And today you have your final exam about C2. I hope you have studied and reviewed everything we have seen during these 2 weeks in our 4 lessons. Can you tell me what was our first lesson? Do you remember that? What was our first lesson? ¿Cuál fue nuestra primera lección? Sin mirar, sin buscar. Just tell me. Write it down. Future tense, exactly. Future tense review, right? We learn about future, or we remember future simple, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. So the exam is going to be based on these 4 types of tenses. Mhm. What was our second topic or second session? Phrasal verbs. Very good, Jesus. Phrasal verbs also. Phrasal verbs are going to be in the exam. So I hope you have reviewed some of the phrasal verbs we have studied in this session. Okay, like, can you tell me a phrasal verb? For example, I can remember get on, get off, get away with. Piece of cake is an idiom. Roger, be careful about it. Get out, get in. Remember, phrasal verbs are verbs used with another particle, which can be a preposition or an adverb, like get in, get off, get out, get away with, stand up. Exactly. Get, come, and break. And some other examples that we share, right? What was our third topic in nuestro tercer tema? Idioms. Very good. We learn about idioms. Can you tell me an idiom? Break a leg. Exactly. So in your exam today, break a leg. Do your best. Concentrate and answer properly. So that's why you are going to have certain time to review, certain time to refresh all the things that we have studied in this course. Bite the bullet, project. Very good. Bite the bullet. And our last topic today was exactly idiomatic expressions. Today, relative clauses. Okay, so these 4 topics are going to be evaluated in your exam. So if you do not feel sure about any of the topics, and if you think or feel that you need to review a bit more, try to do it so that you can get a good score in your exam. Do not rush, take your time, review properly, and take the exam. These are my advice for all of you. Okay, but I know that today we have some prizes to give you, like free certificates. If you feel confident enough to take the exam today, take the exam, and maybe you can win something from Tecnológico, right? They are always giving you some prizes and awards for being so faithful and being here in each of the classes they offer. Por estar aquí en las clases que ofrecen, and for being so dedicated to everything you do for your professional background. Okay, thank you so much for everything you have done during these 4 classes. And now I'm gonna give the word to Mr. Eric. Are you there, Mr. Eric, to take the class?
Good afternoon. Present.
Present. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. Now the group is yours. You can explain them about the exam.
Thank you, Miss, por la clase final. Bien, agradecemos a nuestra querida Miss por la clase, por las 4 sesiones de clases. Sí, estimados participantes. Bien, vamos a hacer cierre de la clase. Voy a cerrar aquí. No se puede ver, no se puede ver. Ya voy a cerrar, pues, todavía no puedo presentar el examen. A ver, un momentito. Un momentito. One moment, please. Un poquito lento está el internet. Ya, ahora sí. Listo. Bien, estimados participantes, nuevamente agradecemos a nuestra querida docente Jenny Vilca por la clase, por las sesiones dadas. Bien. Recuerden que están invitados, ¿sí?, a llevar el inicio de clases en noviembre. Tenemos cursos de inglés también, básico y también avanzado. Si les gustaría volver a llevar, pueden ustedes registrarse a este número de celular que se presenta. Bien, a continuación vamos a dar el pedido a nuestra docente, la mi Jenny Vilca. Este es el curso de inglés avanzado C2. Recuerden que la frecuencia de clases eran martes y jueves de 4 a 6 de la tarde. Duración 2 semanas. Iniciamos el 17 de octubre y terminamos el 26, el día de hoy, de octubre. Recuerden que la última clase fue Relative Clause. La primera fue Future Tense Review, la sesión 2 fue Phrasal Verbs, la sesión 3 Idioms y esta última sesión que hemos realizado. Recuerden que todas estas sesiones van a estar en donde, en su grupo de WhatsApp, sus clases grabadas, sus materiales. Las clases en vivo se han realizado en cada día, los martes y jueves, materiales que se compartieron en su grupo de WhatsApp, y tenemos hoy que inicia su examen final para que ustedes demuestren cuánto han aprendido en inglés avanzado C2. Bien, vamos a dar algunas indicaciones respecto a la certificación. No era la siguiente clase, no. Son 4 sesiones nada más, estimado participante. Antes se podría hacer más sesiones. Probablemente vamos a cambiar la temática y sean hasta 6 sesiones, ¿no? Depende mucho cómo se evalúe, ¿no? En la dirección académica, en la gerencia, ¿no? Las decisiones que tomen. Bien, la final de certificación, cuando terminamos el curso, profesor, ¿cuál es mi beneficio? ¿Cuáles son los siguientes pasos? Este es el siguiente paso final. Vamos a tener un certificado en inglés avanzado, C2. Es muy importante porque hoy en día en las convocatorias de trabajo nos piden un curso de inglés, ¿no? Entonces, si tenemos un nivel avanzado, ya podemos nosotros postular con mejor calma y mayor decisión, ¿sí? El siguiente paso es, cuando ya tengo mi certificado, ¿con qué nota apruebo, profesor? Con una nota de 14. 14 a más. Porque en el certificado que estoy mostrando aquí, el modelo, va a aparecer mi nota. Se certifica al señor Juan Pérez con una nota de 20 en el curso de inglés avanzado C2. Y profesor, lo que usted mencionaba en los convenios van aquí, de color amarillo, va a ir el respaldo de los convenios, ¿sí? Ahí van a ir los convenios que día a día le hemos presentado. Profesor, ¿y los temarios que usted nos presenta dónde van? Va en la parte del costadito de su certificado. Los temarios, las 4 sesiones, ¿no? Phrasal Verbs, Idioms, Relative Clause, ¿sí? Esas 4 sesiones. Y Future Tense Review, las 4 sesiones, van en ese temario. Y finalmente, el código QR. Aquí lo voy a dejar en stop para mostrarles cómo se valida, ¿ya? El campus virtual es el tercer paso. Cuando yo me certifico, apruebo el curso, hago mi trámite de certificación, ya hago un campus virtual con mi código de NI, y eso lo van a explicar en la oficina de certificación, pero aquí les adelanto un detalle. Al tener mi campus virtual, voy a tener el curso que he realizado, y van a estar mis clases grabadas, mis materiales, algunos recursos adicionales que puedan otorgar la docente o la institución, van a estar ahí. ¿Y por qué es también importante? Porque recuerden que en nuestro celular, de repente, tenemos un familiar pequeño en casa, ¿no? Puede haber, y de casualidad elimina nuestro grupo de WhatsApp, lo sale de casualidad, ¿no? Puede pasar. O nosotros mismos también podemos salir del grupo de WhatsApp por casualidad. Entonces, ¿qué pasó? Se va a perder la información. Entonces, ¿y dónde queda guardada mi información, profesor? En el campus virtual. Ahí ustedes van a ver todas sus clases, sus materiales y enlaces, ¿no? Recursos adicionales que pueda haber. Entonces, hasta aquí, estimados, todo está claro, ¿verdad? Me dice, profesor, inglés avanzado C3. Ya, no hay ninguno, ¿no? ¿Ni una duda, ni una consulta? Ya, en el caso de trámite en provincia, en todo lo que es Lima, Perú, Lima, provincia, Lima metropolitana, o Perú, todo el departamento, el costo es 39 soles. Profesor, y si no estoy en Perú, soy de otro país, ¿cuánto pago? El pago es por PayPal, son $10. Si no tenemos el PayPal, nos creamos una cuenta y son $10, ¿sí? Porque si ustedes lo equivalen en pesos, no es un poquito más caro, son $10 por el trámite del certificado digital. ¿Genial? Entonces, si hay dudas y consulta, vamos a mostrarles lo siguiente. Vamos a validar, ¿sí? Vamos a validar su certificado. ¿Cómo se valida? Al hacer clic en este código QR, la empresa que va a recibir su certificado va a hacer lo siguiente. Va a validar, ¿sí? Un ratito, por favor. Voy a validar. Sale aquí el resultado. Un ratito. Un ratito, un ratito. Ya, unos segundos, por favor. Unos segunditos, unos segunditos. No se vayan a retirar. Ya está. Ya. Listo, aquí estoy de vuelta. Bien, entonces, Como les comenté, al validar su certificado, le va a hacer en la parte de arriba el DNI que ustedes van a colocar. Y aquí va a estar registrado los cursos que ustedes han llevado, todos los cursos, ¿sí? Desde el básico hasta el nivel avanzado. En mi caso, está registrado mi curso. Así ustedes validan. Ahora, cuando ya validan certificado, ¿dónde me voy para ver el campus virtual? Aquí vamos a otro campus virtual, ¿sí? Esperamos unos segundos, por favor. En el campo virtual, ustedes van a registrar sus datos, ¿no? Y justamente les indiqué su DNI y su contraseña que le van a dar la misma oficina de certificación. No se preocupen, que va a haber una guía que le va a ayudar para que ustedes se certifiquen, ¿no? Entonces, profesor, ya tengo mi DNI, ya tengo mi certificado. ¿Cuál es el paso final? El campus, ¿no? Entonces, aquí le presenta el campus. Este es el campus donde van a estar sus cursos, ¿no? Digamos, un ejemplo, un curso, a ver, ya, un curso de un curso al azar. Es un curso. Este curso está registrado y va a estar los meses que realizó los cursos. Incluso vamos a ver clases grabadas de meses anteriores de los docentes. ¿Y qué más, profesor? Materiales, las clases grabadas, los enlaces y algunos recursos adicionales que nos puede ofrecer la institución WhatsApp Web, cómo convertir un enlace en negro, descargar point Office, compartir pantalla en Google Meet, cómo dividir las ventanas en Google Meet. Así ustedes van a presentar, van a tener su campus virtual. Entonces, esta es la presentación de su campus virtual, estimado participante. Bien, agradecemos nuevamente a la institución, a nuestro señor, porque la clase es gracias a él, a nuestra querida docente, a todo el equipo de la institución, el Tecnológico. Bien, entonces esta ha sido la presentación del cierre del curso. Ahora vamos a presentar las indicaciones del examen, ¿sí? Porque estoy muy seguro que si profesor, quiero presentar el examen. Por favor, estimados, el examen todavía no lo den. Se le envía el examen al grupo para que ustedes lo tengan y pueden ir bien, ¿sí? Todas las indicaciones, cómo va a ser el examen, cómo lo pueden dar, ¿sí? Todavía no lo realicen porque todavía no envío la clase grabada 4. Entonces, bueno, si estuvimos atentos hoy, lo podemos realizar, ¿no? Pero, de todas formas, recomendación, esperar la clase grabada 4, repasar con calma. Recuerden que van a tener días para dar su examen, ¿ya? Vamos a enviar aquí. Un ratito, por favor. Ya, aquí está. Bien, aquí les envío el enlace. Un ratito, por favor, un ratito. Dice, entonces, aquí les presento la pantalla. Me esperan unos segundos, si cumplen la molestia. Ya está. Bien, las indicaciones vienen aquí lo siguiente. Bien, aquí les presento la pantalla. A ver, ¿se convirtió? Ya. Entonces, ¿dónde está el examen? ¿Dónde está donde indica usted? Aquí viene un enlace. ¿Ya? Lo siguiente. Aquí viene el enlace. Examen final estará habilitado ¿hasta cuándo, profesor? Hasta el domingo 29 de octubre. Este domingo, hasta el domingo podemos dar hasta las 11:59 de la noche. Clave y seguro, poder con tranquilidad mi examen, no se preocupen, no hay un tiempo para el examen, es por días, ¿sí? Si hoy quizás no lo puedo dar, lo doy hasta el viernes, sábado, domingo, pero con tranquilidad esperamos, repasamos muy bien las clases y damos el examen con tranquilidad. Este es el link del formulario. Al hacer un clic ustedes, hacen clic y envían directamente al examen final de inglés. ¿Sí? Entonces, ese es el paso para entrar. Ahora, si nosotros terminamos el examen, profesor, ¿dónde me iría? Puedo hacer clic aquí y le va a enviar un enlace a la oficina de certificación. ¿Sí? A la oficina de certificación, donde ustedes, más estimado, soy el participante tal del curso Inglés Avanzado C2, mes de octubre. ¿Sí? Ese certificado para que ustedes puedan validar, ¿no? Ese certificado de frente, ¿eh? De frente les envía. ¿Sí? Entonces, así ustedes hacen clic. Ahora, este enlace de aquí es para que ustedes hagan alguna donación en caso que quieran colaborar con la institución, ¿no? Alguna donación, profesor, quiere hacer alguna donación, entonces así pueden hacer, ¿sí? ¿Dudas y consultas, estimados, antes de continuar? ¿Ninguna duda, ninguna consulta? ¿Todo está claro? ¿Sí? ¿Todo está claro? Sí, a ver, genial. está. Listo, vamos a compartir esta parte aquí para que ustedes vean cómo funciona el enlace cuando envío por el WhatsApp, ¿ya? Para que ustedes puedan ver que sí funciona. Por ejemplo, ¿no? Profesor, tramita mi certificado. Hago clic en este enlace que se puede tramitar en la oficina de certificación y le envío lo siguiente. Hola, soy participante del curso Inglés Avanzado C2. Quiero tramitar mi certificado. Este es uno. ¿Ya? Para tramitar mi certificado. Ahora, otro punto. Si queremos hacer una donación a la institución, hola, deseo hacer una donación. Pero recuerden que la donación es cuando ustedes, en caso que ustedes les gustaría contribuir con la clase brindada por la institución. Sí, toda donación es opcional, estimados participantes, depende de cada uno de ustedes. Entonces, estas son las indicaciones respecto a cómo entrar a los enlaces, cómo presentar, cómo ubicar el enlace. Incluso aquí cuando hago clic en el formulario, me sale también el enlace del WhatsApp, también, directo. Ese, listo. Entonces, los siguientes puntos es, finalmente, ya tengo mi examen, tenemos que colocar nuestro correo electrónico bien, correcto, apellidos y nombres, DNI, en caso soy de país extranjero, carnet de extranjería, número de WhatsApp, país, ciudad, en caso Perú, Lima, ¿no? Si soy de otro país, Colombia, Bogotá, Ecuador, ¿no? Entre otros lugares, ¿no? Y aquí hay 10 preguntas que ustedes van a responder. The movie, I watched last night, what's excellent, ¿no? The dog, espacio, space, we adopt from the shelter is very friendly, ¿no? Entonces, son 10 preguntas súper claras que ustedes van a realizar. Esperamos que todos estén listos, preparados. Y luego de acabar todas estas 10 preguntas, enviar. Y recuerden, estimados, tienen desde ahora, desde hoy, hasta el domingo, para realizar su examen. El día lunes, por la mañana o por la tarde, estoy publicando las notas finales que ustedes saquen, ¿sí? Pero si en caso ustedes ya quieren ir avanzando, un ratito, por favor. Si ustedes ya quieren pues, avanzar, el profesor quiere avanzar, de frente hacen clic en los enlaces. De esta forma, estimados participantes, terminamos la presentación, ¿no? De todo lo que es el curso. Si dudas y consultas les gustaría participar, también les invitamos a ustedes, estimados participantes, a lo siguiente. ¿Sí? Un ratito, por favor. Ya. Listo, para que podamos ver, profesor, cuáles son las nuevas noticias, las nuevas publicaciones de la institución. Pueden seguirnos en Facebook. Bien, aquí tenemos un nuevo convenio institucional, como les comenté. Ahora viene con la UGEL de Chincheros. Aquí también tenemos los cursos gratuitos que iniciamos. Si le envío el enlace también a ustedes, para los que pueden seguirnos. Sí, un ratito se toman en seguirnos. Están los cursos que inician 6, 7 de noviembre. El 4 también iniciamos. Están los cursos con inglés básico y terreno básico, excelente intermedio. Están los cursitos. Y aquí tenemos un spot publicitario que me gustaría que ustedes puedan reaccionar, algún comentario de recuerdo. Me gustó las clases, gracias por su mejora. Están todos nosotros de mejora, ¿no? Un spot publicitario de recuerdo, ustedes, de todo lo que participamos, ¿no? En la institución. Somos la institución del Tecnológico. Somos un gran equipo y aquí están todos los cursos donde ustedes pueden. Entonces, así ustedes pueden ver todas nuestras publicaciones y todo lo demás. ¿Sí? ¿Dudas y consultas, estimados? ¿Ninguna? ¿Todo está clarito? Y bien, el último regalo que les deseo comentar, el último beneficio, para que ustedes se vayan a descansar tranquilos, o sea, del examen, es sobre nuestra plataforma en YouTube. Ahí está, ¿eh? Entonces, aquí ustedes nos siguen, hacen suscripción. Yo tenía sido la institución hace mucho tiempo y vamos aumentando y ustedes van a ver todas las clases grabadas que les gustaría participar, ¿eh? Todas las sesiones, diferentes sesiones de diferentes docentes que dictan cursos, bastantes, aquí van a encontrar todos los docentes, ¿eh? Diferentes docentes de diferentes cursos gratuitos que da la institución, ¿sí? Entonces, así, estimados participantes, pueden ustedes entrar a nuestra institución, el Tecnológico. Miren, aquí está. Están todos los videos, todas las clases grabadas, que ustedes podrían disfrutar. Bien, estimados participantes, finish the presentation, the class, eso será todo. Good luck, ¿sí? Muy buena suerte en su examen. Good luck this exam. Felicitaciones, congratulations por llegar hasta el final. Un fuerte abrazo, muchas bendiciones para todos, y eso sería todo por hoy. Nos vemos hasta la próxima, señores participantes. See you later, un gusto conocerlos, nice to meet you. Muchas bendiciones, y nos vemos en otra oportunidad. Muchas bendiciones, hasta la próxima.